They were wrong. I mean, profoundly, catastrophically wrong. It's such a simple statement, right? But it hangs over everything, over one of the most pivotal moments of the entire 20th century.
You see, this was the core belief, the big idea floating around, that this radical new leader, he could be tamed, that you could use him like a tool, keep him in check with the old system. But that single assumption, well, it turned out to be a fatal error.
Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to break down the anatomy of that fatal miscalculation. We're going to look at how one of the most devastating political gambles in all of history went so horribly wrong.
All right, so let's dig into that miscalculation. At its very heart, there was this fundamental misunderstanding, a really dangerous gap between what they thought was happening and what was actually happening. And that gap, it would have consequences that changed the entire world.
Okay, so what you're seeing here really shows the sheer disconnect. On one side, you've got the belief, Germany's old guard, right? The political establishment. They thought, hey, we can install this charismatic guy, use his popularity for our own goals, and, keep him on a leash. A figurehead, basically, not the real power. But the reality? Oh, it was something else entirely. They thought they were getting a puppet, but what they were really doing was unleashing an unstoppable force, a force that had absolutely no intention of ever being controlled.
And this wasn't just some theory they were kicking around. No, it was put into action on one single day in January 1933. And that day, that was the point of no return. It set in motion a chain of events that, well, nobody could reverse.
And the time frame here, it's just breathtaking. I mean, really think about this. In January, Adolf Hitler gets appointed chancellor. The establishment, they're probably breathing a sigh of relief thinking, okay, we've got him boxed in. But then, just months later, I'm not talking years, I'm talking months, the entire democratic structure of the nation is just gone. This wasn't some slow-motion collapse. It was a political blitzkrieg.
So the big question is, how? How did it all fall apart so fast? Well, the answer is in the method. This wasn't some chaotic, messy collapse. No, it was a masterclass in political destruction.
So once that power was secured, there was zero hesitation. The takeover of the state happened swiftly.
Every single lever of power was pulled. Political opponents, silenced. Civil liberties, suspended. The rule of law, it was completely subverted, ruthlessly.
And in the end, there was nothing left. Nothing of the old system was left standing. The entire democratic framework was just erased, completely.
And that was the final outcome. That belief that they could control him, it just shattered against the reality of his ambition. Think about it. Within months of that fateful appointment in January, German democracy was nothing more than a memory. This wasn't just some political mistake. No, this miscalculation was the catalyst for a total, complete system collapse. So this whole story, this entire sequence of events, from one single flawed assumption all the way to a nation's downfall, it leaves us with a pretty stark and timeless question, doesn't it? It kind of forces us to ask ourselves, just how fragile is democracy really?